single for the holidays, this episode is for you. Because let's be honest, navigating December solo comes with its own special blend of awkward questions, quiet nights, freedom, and surprisingly sweet moments. Today, we're talking about all of it, the hard parts, the funny parts, and the parts where God shows up in ways you might not expect. Whether you're freshly single or longtime single, or simply spending the season differently than you imagined, you are not behind, you are not forgotten, and you are definitely not alone. Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville, God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, Gigi, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who is taking back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like I do in these midlife years, wondering if your best days are behind you, but feeling way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could replace negative thoughts with curiosity and possibility, renewing your mind, faith, joy, passion, purpose, and adventure in this season? If you're ready for a little mindset coaching as you navigate change, then throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. Hey, my Taking Back Happy friends, have you popped in on the Taking Back Happy Facebook group? Pop in there and see what you think. It's a great place to make new friends and keep the old one is silver and the other is gold. Okay, just kidding. I had to get into my Christmas vibe. But anyway, it's a great place to connect with other women who are in midlife. They're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. They need a little mindset coaching as they go along this path. So hop on in there with us. Also, if you are vibing with me on this podcast, you might want to become a TBH insider, a Taking Back Happy insider. And that's really just a weekly email that you get. So it's weekly emails, kind of talk about our latest podcast, kind of tips on creating a happy mindset, early bird access to any special offers that I might have. You know, last week I was talking about the free coaching calls that I'm doing right now. And also just encouraging Bible devos to just kind of keep our mind, just our minds out on Christ. So for the most part, I enjoy being single. That doesn't mean I don't want to meet somebody. That doesn't mean I wouldn't consider being married again. It just means overall, I have a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, I have a lot of great friends and an awesome family, and just all kinds of connections that really are fulfilling to me. However, this time of year, I find it to be particularly difficult. I think a lot of it is just my own mindset, right? It's just that Christmas mindset and that, you're watching, well, if you're me, you're watching all the Hallmark Christmas movies, right? And it's just like the romance and the magic and the lights and the snow and all the things that come with Christmas. It always to me, it kind of ties in with having that special someone in your life and doing those things together. And, sometimes it can be kind of like a magnifying glass where you're like, okay, maybe I am a little lonely. Maybe I would enjoy to have this person, but I think also it's kind of like what we were talking about last week is those expectations. Like you build that up in your head and you're like, this is what Christmas looks like. This is what the holidays look like. And so today I wanted to do 10 things that talk about, being single for the holidays. They're kind of like realities of being single for the holidays, but they're going to be the challenging part and the blessing part, because everything's an and, right? Most things are an and. So I want to talk about both and maybe even a few funny things too. So let's get right into it. Starting with number one. Number one, there is no one you are obligated to bring the family gatherings. So this can be hard in some ways because whenever you get together on the holidays, what do your friends and your family that haven't seen you in a long time do? They start asking those questions. So, are you seeing anyone? And, that can be, it could be good. It could be bad. It's definitely can be annoying, but it's they just want the best for you, right? And so they're going to be asking those kind of questions. But the blessing is you can redirect that conversation. So you can turn it around and you can, talk about something that you're doing that you're excited about in your life. So, like in my life, I'm like, actually, I'm about seeing myself grow in these areas. And I'll talk about my podcast, I'll talk about my life coaching. I'll even, just talk about different things I do and the connections I have with my family and my friends and things like that. So you can go ahead and direct that conversation around. And those aren't necessarily those are true things. Those are things that really are blessings in your life, right? And the funny part is, no date, no judgment. So you can eat as many slices of your favorite dessert as you want, and you don't have to worry about what someone else is going to think. Number two, there's no need to coordinate holiday travel with someone else. This is really actually a big thing, I think, in real life. So, it is hard because you don't have that built-in travel buddy, right? You don't have that person that you're going with and you're doing things with and all that. But it's also such a blessing because all you have to worry about is like one person, you. Like you just have to worry about like your schedule, where you want to go this Christmas, who you want to spend time with. You don't have to debate whether, the 5 a.m. flight is the best flight because it's worth it because it's cheaper, or should I take the red eye or anything like that. If you want to stay a couple extra days, you can stay a couple extra days. So that might be my actually favorite thing right now is the traveling and having the flexibility to do that when I don't have to consider, somebody else and matching up our schedules and all that kind of thing. On the funny side, TSA may be the only man who's actually patting you down this season. But hey, he's consistent. You're not going to get through that line without, doing the arms up in the air, a little bit of arrest action too. And then the pat down if you mess something up. Number three, you get the whole bed to yourself. So the hard part is, of course, it can feel lonely on those cold December nights, right? Especially if you live somewhere cold or, it's even in Panama City, it gets chilly this time of year. And, nothing that a few warm socks can't help, right? But the blessing is you can just, stretch all over and just be as wiggle around the bed and be on all different sides and do all those things. You can use as many blankets or pillows or whatever. You don't have to, coordinate with somebody else. I remember when I first got separated and I got the whole bed and it felt so weird, but it may also made me kind of happy because I was like, I can just like stretch right out here. And on the funny side, your weighted blanket, your extra pillow, whatever you're putting in the bed with you, even your warm socks, maybe they don't snore. They do not steal the covers. Number four, you don't have to buy a significant other gift. So the hard part of this is it can feel like you're missing out on sharing something special, especially when you're seeing on social media and people are, this is what I got my hubby and this is what I got my boyfriend and da 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 da. But the blessing is that money now goes to you, all to you. So you get to decide how you want to use it, right? You want to use it, you want to share with people who are less fortunate during the holiday. It's your decision. If you want to, buy your grandkids something really awesome, it's your decision. If you want to go on a trip to the Bahamas, it's again your decision. So we can use the money the way that we want to use it. And one of the things that I had always wanted to do, like as long as I can remember, was I wanted to adopt a child, sponsor a child every month. So I actually did that. It's been about 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I adopted a boy that lives in India. His name is and he's so awesome. And he'll write me letters and I write him letters. And it's just the coolest thing. But, that's just part of it. That's when you're deciding how you want to use those gifts. Maybe use those gifts for your sponsor child or something. And on the funny side, you always get exactly what you want finally because you find it for yourself, right? Number five, you get to call the emotional shots. So the hard part of this is you don't have a partner. So if you don't have someone to lean on, if there's any kind of like family drama or family tension or anything like that, but the blessing is you don't have a partner. If there's some family tension or some family drama, right? You don't have to worry about, keeping the peace for someone else, which you really shouldn't be doing that anyway, because we can't, make somebody else happy. But it's just one person that, is walking into this and dealing with family relationships and things like that. You don't have to worry about a partner. So finding the humor in this one, if there's tears, they're just your tears. You're not having to share tears with somebody else. Number 6, you choose your own holiday traditions. The hard part is you might really miss having like shared traditions that you share with somebody else. I think about it more, not really in a way with a spouse, but I think about it more with my kids. Like I miss the things that we did when they were little. We always did the happy birthday Jesus party. We always went and looked at Christmas lights. We always did all those little things that we did. I do miss that a lot. But the blessing is you get to build brand new ones that actually bring you peace instead of pressure. So one of the things I've been wanting to do a really, really long time, and when we finally did it last year, was driving over to this town. I think it was in Defuniak Springs is where it was. Anyway, it's about an hour and a half from here. And they have this really, really pretty like light display. And it's all around this lake and you can walk around it, and they have like little shops and restaurants and things like that. And I'd wanted to do it like as long as I can remember. People have been talking about it, but I hadn't done it until last year. And finally, I just got some girlfriends together and I was like, hey, let's go over there and do that. And we had so much fun that we're going to do it every year and make it an annual celebration. So finding the humor in this one, you can make your Christmas lights as gaudy as you want them. You can really overdo yourself outside. I've already put my lights outside, my Christmas lights, and I'm not done yet. And I found out today that my little reindeer, I had 2 reindeer, and they light up, and one of them doesn't light up anymore. So you know what that means to me? That means I go find something that I like that lights up that I can put there with my other reindeer. Number 7, you don't have to pretend to like someone's cooking. So I think about this, the hard part is it might feel like no one is saving you the best piece of pie or your favorite dessert, your favorite homemade meal or whatever. But on the other hand, you're not having to, the blessing is you don't have to choke down something that you don't like. And one of the things that really stands out to me is like, I grew up in Indiana, meat and potatoes, right? Just real basic, nothing fancy. Then I moved down to Florida and I live in the Panhandle. So it's really like Southern Alabama, very much the deep South. And people really cook and they eat a lot differently down here than what I grew up. So if you don't have a partner to have to worry about and you have to go to your in-laws' house, you don't have to worry about all those kind of things. So finding the humor in this one beyond just the differences in like regional foods and things like that is you could literally just DoorDash your holiday dinner in your PJs and just call it your new tradition, right? You don't have to worry about what somebody else wants to eat for their holiday. I will tell you on our Christmas day, we have breakfast. We have like a brunch. And so after we do our little brunch, and then after that, the rest of the day is just like no big deal. I just have leftovers or I'll just have a PB&J, whatever I feel like that day. Number 8, you can leave any event early or you can stay forever. If you're like me, you probably want to stay forever. So the hard part of this one is leaving alone can sometimes feel awkward. I guess because you do get to decide. You do have to decide. You can't say, oh, Jimmy's ready to leave now. But also the blessing is you don't have to wait on someone who's still talking to, one of your cousins. And you don't, have to wait on, or, if they're ready to go and you're like, I've just got started. I just started working this room. I just started catching up with all my family and you're way not ready to go. Then you have your own time, right? On the funny side, this one reminds me of my friend Luana because we are always the opposites in everything we do. And so if we go somewhere and we're hanging out, sometimes she'll say, I think I'm just going to take my car. Because she knows me and I'm going to get around people and I'm going to wind up and I'm going to want to spend all this time and I want to stay late and I want to chat and I want to carry on. And she's going to get around people and she loves people and she's very outgoing with people, but there's a limit to her peopleness. So she's going to get around people and she's going to be like, okay, I've done my peopling and now it's time to leave. Okay, we are up to number 9. There's only 2 more. So number 9, you get to set the tone of your home. I do really like this. The hard part is it can feel really quiet sometimes, maybe a little too quiet. But the blessing is you get to set the tone. You get to decide. You get to decide, do I want to put on peaceful worship music? Do I want to have my Hallmark Christmas movies? Of course. Do I want to have total silence and, just sit there and watch the twinkling lights or watch my Christmas tree blink? You get to decide what that tone is going to be and what brings you peace in this season. On the funny side, you can decorate your home any way you want. You could have a pink Christmas tree. You could have I love those little icicle things that you put all over. You could just put everywhere you turn around. Sometimes I like to hang down those little snowflakes that you hand cut and things like that. And there's not going to be anyone there saying that is just way too much decoration because it's your home, baby. And number 10, this one's a little bit on the serious side. You get to hear God more clearly in the quiet. Sometimes when your house is filled with kids or with a partner or whatever it is, you've got all this external noise, good noise, but noise going on. So the hard part is the quiet can really sting sometimes because it just makes you realize it's so evident, that you're by yourself. But the blessing is the quiet also becomes a really sacred place. It's a season where God fills that space where others really cannot. And he can meet you where you're at. And he can give you that joy and that peace and everything you're seeking in those moments of quiet. So my taken back happy friend, being single for the holidays doesn't mean you're missing out. It means you get a front row seat to what God is doing in your own story, in your own life right now. Every quiet moment, every awkward family question, every unexpected joy, it all counts. And it's all shaping you into the woman that he's called you to be. If today's episode encouraged you, then please share it with another woman, especially somebody who is single and, navigating the holidays just like I am. We can look at the hard and acknowledge it. We can look for the blessings and, just keep seeking those and putting those before us. And we could even look at the humor. Why not laugh with ourselves? Maybe at ourselves, maybe with ourselves, however you want to say it. And remember, I'm doing the Taking Back Happy coaching calls. These are mindset coaching calls. And so this is a great time of year to, get coached on this kind of season, right? This kind of stuff that's going on, like being single in the holidays. So if you're interested in that, I'm doing the free coaching calls right now. Just hit me up and we will set up a call. So anyway, don't forget, hop on over to the Facebook group, become a TBH Insider, and you guys have an awesome week. Keep choosing your joy. Keep choosing your hope. Keep taking back your happy one day at a time. Whether you are married, single, or whatever you are, keep taking that happy back. If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taking Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.